you ever find the Christmas killer?
Never got a reliable description of the man.
Dad?
Welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge.
And I'm Ashley Sledge.
And let's talk horror.
So today we are going to be doing an in-depth review of The Mean One. We are going to spoil this. So please go watch the movie first if you haven't seen it yet, and then come back and listen to our review.
Yes. The title says it. The description says it. My beautiful wife has said it. And now I'm going to say it. We are about to spoil this movie for you. So if you don't want that to happen, please wait until the movie comes out, watch it, and then come back and hear our honest assessment and our honest review of the film and see if you agree with us. So 3, 2, 1, spoilers. The movie starts off with a young girl coming down the stairs to find Santa Claus in her house leaving presents. The mom comes in. She freaks out, starts screaming, attacks the monster. The monster ends up killing the mom, scarring the little girl. We flash forward to 20 years later, and the little girl's name is Cindy. She's returning to Newville, where she lived, to get closure with her father. They spend the night in the house. They have fun. They're dancing and drinking eggnog and, having a good time.
Decorating.
Yeah. The next day, they go to the diner, and they meet the mayor, who's there. She's got a poster of herself on the wall. She's handing out stickers. Vote for a brighter tomorrow. She sees Cindy and walks right past her. Doesn't even make eye contact with her. This is where we also meet Sheriff Hopper, the one that helped Sydney when her mom died. And he's aged a little bit, but you find out right away that I've never seen a cop act like this. Like, he's telling the little girl, like, you didn't see a monster. I need you to tell me that there's no monster. And it's just a weird interaction between a cop.
Be a big girl now. Like, monsters don't exist.
Yeah. It's a really, really weird interaction between a police officer and a young lady that just experienced something extremely crazy. Then we meet the Jewish deputy Goldman. And it is very important that he's Jewish because he moved to Newville and there was no Christmas anywhere. So he felt right at home. The dad comes back and says that nobody puts up decorations. You can't even buy decorations anywhere. And Christmas is pretty much dead in Newville.
Nobody celebrates Christmas.
And we find out now that the Newville killer, the Christmas killer, was never caught. So there's a lot of going on here at the beginning. And something I want to say real quick, it's a very dark movie. And I don't mean atmosphere. I mean, it's dark atmosphere too.
Right.
But the lighting is very dark, which is very opposite of a story and movie that we used to read and watch when we were young. I don't know.
So they go home, Cindy and her dad, and they're decorating the house. I'm assuming they pull some out of the attic from when they used to live there because they couldn't find any in town.
Right.
And this is when Cindy gets locked outside and she's trying to open it, and she sees through the window on the door her dad being attacked by another assailant.
Yeah.
She's freaking out. This is when she wakes up. She's in the hospital now, and they're pretty much calling her crazy.
Yep. Which makes her snap.
Yeah, like I am not
crazy.
Yes. We also in this movie we get a lot of voiceovers it comes sporadically throughout the film, and it rhymes. Much like an old Christmas movie we used to watch.
Something very familiar about all this.
So after all that, Cindy at home, she finds this flower, the Lalapulu flower. And she knows that this is in the mountains where she lives. So she decides to go up to the mountains and kind of check things out.
Well, we know that it's a rare flower that's only
in the mountains. Yeah,
it's the only place you can find it. That's like the attraction of it is come here to look for this flower.
It's literally on a website come see this flower.
Yeah.
So she decides he must have brought this into my home. So she went up to the mountain to kind of scope things out. This is when she sees another couple up there, and they are getting attacked by the Mean One, and we see his face.
And it's amazing seeing David Howard Thornton playing the Mean One here, playing this monster. Seeing his face for the first time really was a treat. Cindy ends up falling in a crevice, in a cave, and she finds a wallet on the mountain belonging to a kid that's been missing since 2009. And this gets the deputy suspicious when no one else will believe her. We cut to a bus full of drunk mall Santas that go to a diner. Some of the biggest assholes in the world. There's a sexual assault scene here.
Yeah,
where they're slapping a waitress on the ass. And
I do love, however, how she
is a badass.
Is a badass and doesn't take his shit at all.
And then he walks in on her when she's in the back, and she's just like, "Oops, sorry."
She totally gets him, and I'm like, "You go, girl. Don't you take that from Santa."
Right. Well, once she gets Santa, she turns around and he's gone, and we see the Mean One has dragged him into one of those stand-up fridges, and obviously has killed him off screen. He then goes on a killing spree in the diner with some amazing practical kills. One of my favorites, he has one of those long, like sharp pointers that you put receipts on.
Yeah.
And he takes the Santa's head right into it with his ear.
Yes.
Now, what I will say about this, the practical kills are awesome. They look so cool. The CGI blood accompanying it is awful.
I hate CGI blood
And
so
this is
much.
bad CGI blood.
Yes.
Please, if you guys are watching this and you were a part of this, we love what you guys do.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But man, you can tell they had some budget restraints when it came to the CGI blood. We are going to be brutally honest with our review, and the CGI blood was bad. But what wasn't bad is one of our favorite kills of the whole film is one of the girls being shoved face first into a huge garbage disposal. And that turned out to be one of our favorite kills in the whole film.
Yeah, I really like that one for sure.
Yeah.
So the mean one actually tries to attack Cindy, but she is saved by a man. His name is Doc. And he also knows about the mean one. And so we get one of the funnier moments and one of the funniest moments in the film, actually.
They meet up at a bar.
Yeah, and he's trying to tell her what the mean one's name is, and he keeps getting interrupted by other names that rhyme with his name, and it cracks me up. It's good.
It's really good how they did this scene.
Yeah, for
we
sure.
We audibly laughed out loud during this scene because it was just really well played. That mean old Mr. Fitch, last call for Fitch.
Yeah.
It was, the way they played the scene was really, really good. It gave us genuine laughs during this scene.
So we find out that Doc's wife was actually attacked and killed by the mean one also. And he believes Cindy. Out of everybody in the town, like, he actually believes her. This is when the deputy, he goes up to the mountain and he is in the cave and he's finding wallets and he's finding bones. And he sees a shadow like ruffling around and he's pulling in one of the Santas that the mean one killed from the diner.
Yeah.
So luckily he escapes, and he runs out, and this is when him and Doc, they kind of like run into each other. And Doc has a gun and is like drunk, and he's like, "Do you have a permit for that?"
We find out Doc's name here.
And so Doc's name is actually Doc Zeus.
Like the god.
After the god, right?
Yeah. And it's funny, he's like, Mr. Dr. Zeus. And I was like, hey, this sounds familiar.
Yes. And this is when we get this pretty cool, awesome training montage. It's set to a metal version of Carol of the Bells, which is kick-ass. Like, I love it.
So cool.
And Cindy, she's getting ready. She's going to take down this mean one.
So after her training montage is over, we flash back to the deputy, and he has this oh shit moment when he's running all the IDs. He's at the computer doing the police procedural shit. And he has one of those oh my god moments when he's running all the IDs.
You're so curious, like, what did he find?
Right. So then the sheriff arrests Doc for being drunk. He brings Doc in, puts him in jail. He goes to see the mayor, and we find out they were in cahoots about something.
We don't know what yet, but something.
Right. We cut back to the deputy, and he tells Cindy that the mayor has been luring people here to hike in the mountains for years, and that's what's been leading to all these people dying. And up until this point, they play it really well to where if you don't know the mean one is real,
you think that it might
be Cindy
yeah,
doing all this. But this is the moment where you realize that there's a lot more going on, and it's not Cindy. It really is a monster that's out there.
So Cindy tells him that she's going to kill the mean one. And the deputy, he's like, you need forgiveness, a forgiveness speech. You have to forgive people. We
haven't touched on this enough because we're not trying to go every detail, but
right.
He is Jewish, so forgiveness is something that's very important to him.
Yes.
With his religion, it's something that, it's in his blood is to forgive people. And he's always preaching forgiveness. And this is one of the big speeches where he's like, you need to forgive. And she's like, motherfucker killed my mom and dad. Fuck your forgiveness.
I know. Like, how can you forgive that? So she kicks him out.
Yeah.
Like, bye. So this is when we get a flash to the mayor. She's trying to leave town. She says she's just going for,
to her sisters for the holiday.
Yeah.
It's pretty sus.
When all this shit's going down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's leaving. This is when her car, it's like, I don't know what's happening with it. It's like
the alternator's going out, so all the power's going out.
Yeah, you would know more about that than me.
Well, she's gonna fix it with a crescent wrench.
Yeah. So. He totally noticed that.
She gets out of her car with a crescent wrench to fix whatever happened to her car.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, that's how she's gonna fix it." So anyways, her car starts playing Christmas music and the mean one hears it and comes in. This is when we get a really good jump scare when she's putting down her hood and he's standing there.
Yeah.
And then he decapitates her with her trunk. So
Well, one thing I loved about this moment was, when the trunk went down, you were like, oh, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Another thing we haven't touched on, the reason that people don't put up their decorations, they don't play music, is because that's what attracts the mean one. So if he sees decorations, if he hears the music, he's going to attack and kill you.
Right.
That's a big thing that we probably should have touched on before now.
So the deputy, he confronts the sheriff, and the sheriff admits that they were in cahoots together. The mayor and him were. They were just trying to save the people of Newville. They wanted to keep them safe by luring in these tourists to, climb the mountains and see this beautiful flower to keep the people of Newville safe.
And I love this moment because, it's so ridiculous. But in his mind, he's doing the right thing.
Right.
Like, I took an oath to these people. My job is to keep these people safe. Fuck other people. Let them die up in that mountain, but not our people.
Not the people of Newville.
I took an
Anybody
oath
else
to keep them safe.
Yeah, for sure. So this is when we get a flashback of Sheriff when he was younger, and he sees this girl named Stephanie, and he finds her with bows lodged into her eye. She's bleeding from her eyes, and the mean one, he kills Stephanie right in front of the sheriff.
Right. After hearing this, the deputy freaks out because now he's gotten that true commitment that this is real. He heads up to the mountain to try to kill the mean one before Cindy can go up there to protect her. The sheriff leaves, and he leaves the keys right on the jail cell so that way that Doc can grab him and get out. Once he does, he goes to Cindy's house, getting caught in a trap. He tells Cindy, he's like, your boyfriend went up to the mountains to get the mean one. And she's like, my boyfriend?
My boyfriend?
He's not my boyfriend. Who said that? Did he say that?
Yeah. She's like, oh, that's so sweet.
Right. Well, then she's like, well, let's go. She goes to run off and realizes she never cut Doc down.
Oh, shit, I might want to cut you down, huh?
So then they head up to the mountain. The sheriff gets there before they do, and he sees the deputy in a bear trap. He gets him out, he shoots the mean one and scares him away. He gets the deputy out and tells him, you need to go get medical help. Gives him to Cindy and Doc. They take him down the mountain, and the sheriff goes deeper in. Before anything can happen, though, the sheriff is killed off screen by the mean one after a little bit of a gunfight. And it's awesome because he's singing Christmas songs and shooting, trying to see where the mean one is. And the scene looked really, really good. So I wanted to point that out, too. But the sheriff does get killed off screen. We know he's dead because his arm comes flying out. Cindy goes to grab him to pull him out, but it's literally
just his arm.
It's just his arm. Doc takes Goldman to the hospital, and Cindy goes home to set up her Christmas lights, and she plays her Christmas music to try to lure him in. Now, when Doc takes Goldman to the hospital, I want to say when they're in the car getting ready to take him, he's pale. He looks like he lost a lot of blood. We complained about how bad the CGI looked earlier. That's how good this scene looks.
Yes.
So I wanted to throw that in there. It looks really good. It looks very believable that he's very injured and needs medical attention.
Yes. So the mean one, he comes down Cindy's chimney, and she's laying there. She's sleeping, pretending like she's sleeping. And she sits up. This is when Doc, he tries to get a couple of shots on him he's outside while Cindy's inside, obviously. And Doc, he has a sniper rifle and tries to shoot the mean one. And this is when he kind of disappears.
It's a weird scene. Like, they're all looking. It reminds me of the scene in Halloween where Laurie's looking out the window and then Michael just disappears.
Always got to bring up Halloween.
But that's what this reminds me of, because they're looking at the mean one and all of a sudden he's just gone.
Yeah. Well, it's
weird.
Magical.
Okay.
It's Christmas.
We'll go with that.
So he shows up right next to Doc and nearly kills him. So this is when Cindy shoots him off with it's like a candy cane rifle, which it looks pretty freaking dope. Like, I would totally have a candy cane rifle.
Right.
She also has a bat covered in Christmas lights and a bomb.
It's like a Christmas tree bulb.
Yeah.
But it's a bomb.
It's a bomb, which is pretty freaking cool too.
Yeah.
So she lights her Christmas tree on fire, and it blows up, and so this makes the mean one fall over, and so she gets the upper hand. She's on top of him with her knife, and she's about to kill him when
she sees a necklace.
Yeah, and she's like, Santa?
And
yeah.
So we find out at this moment that, he wasn't trying to kill her mother. He killed her in self-defense.
Yeah. And so she forgives him like Goldman wanted her to from the beginning.
And his heart grew
three sizes that day. And it freaking killed him because your heart isn't supposed to grow three sizes.
His heart blew up. He died from an enlarged heart, which is, I think that's amazing. That's so good.
Because, I mean, you know.
Yeah, it reminds me of something else from when we were younger. Huh. But because his heart grew three sizes, and that's something that's physically impossible, it blows up inside of him.
It blows him up. So this is when we get a cut to the people of Newville, and all these different people like want to go find this monster, and they want to hunt him down. So now,
but the people of Newville are now decorating.
They're decorating. There's Christmas everywhere. Deputy Goldman is now the sheriff.
Sheriff Goldman now.
He is. Way to go. And the movie kind of ends with Cindy and Goldman. They're under a mistletoe and they kiss, of course. And they're like, well, it's not really the happy ending, but it's kind of a happy ending. And
Goldman's like, I wonder if there's a parallel universe that has a happier version of this. It's just like, yes, what a great way to end the movie.
It's a reference to an old Christmas movie that we all love.
Or a book we may have read back in the day.
Yes, for sure.
So that's where the movie ends, with that awesome line delivery, which we both loved. So I do want to say a couple things. I think the movie had some really good practical effects.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It had some very decent jump scares. I can't say original story, but it's a good take on an old tale.
Yeah.
I like what they did there.
It's fun. Like that. This is fun to me.
And there was at least 2 or 3 times that we audibly laughed.
Yeah.
Which is very rare for us in a movie especially in a horror comedy, to get that type of chuckle. Now this is not a perfect movie. There is some very, very dicey acting at times. The CGI blood is borderline unforgivable.
Yeah.
It looks very bad.
Yeah.
I mean, overall, I would say I'd give this movie a 2.5 out of 5. David Howard Thornton as the mean one is just amazing. Like everything he does. There's even a part where he like tiptoes.
Yes,
in.
I love that. I love
and
it.
It reminds me of somebody else.
It reminds me of some old Christmas
place
movie I used to watch when I was a kid.
Mr. Fitch? Something like that?
Fitch.
Yeah. Last call for Fitch. But overall, I would say I'd give it a 2.5. It's a fun movie that I had a lot of fun with. It's nothing I could see myself, revisiting every holiday season, I don't think. But that's not a knock on the movie itself. It's just not... this movie is not one that I personally would gravitate to for multiple watches. But I had a lot of fun with it. I laughed. Some decent jump scares. Some great practical effects. The kills in this movie look really good until the CGI blood starts happening. But overall, I'm going to give it a 2.5.
Okay. I am going to give it a 3 out of 5. Okay. CGI blood I freaking hate. So that was a downfall. There is some really good jump scares, like you said. Some of the makeup looks really good. Like the sheriff when he was younger and then to when he's older, 20 years later, it looks like he aged. And they did phenomenal with that, I think.
I should have brought that up. The makeup. I would file that under the practical effects, but the makeup jobs were very good.
It did, and also we already touched on this, but when he gets trapped in the bear trap and then he's all pale and stuff, like that looks phenomenal. It looks like he's really hurt and he needs to get to the hospital. Right. A 3 out of 5. I had a lot of fun with it, and it brings Christmas and horror together, and those are 2 of my favorites. So yeah.
And there's an old movie and book we used to read that you're a huge fan of.
I love that. Yeah, this old movie that I not only watched as a kid, but I watched multiple times as an adult. So because
our kids, especially our baby, really likes this. I can't remember what that movie's called, but to bring that into a horror realm, it's awesome. And you can tell that this is a set that I feel like you would have wanted to be on if you were an actor, an art designer, a producer, a director. I feel like this is a set that you would want to be a part of. Like, they had so much fun making this movie.
Absolutely. So you can definitely tell in the way that they act and, just are with each other in the movie. So, it's a movie that I would recommend you for a one-time watching. If you don't watch it again, I understand, but it's definitely worth a viewing. So if you stuck with us this whole time and you still haven't seen the movie, hopefully this pushes you in that direction to make you want to go see this for yourself, because we did purposely leave out a lot of plot points. That way we didn't just fill in every single blank for you. But we want to say thank you guys for watching this. I hope you have a very happy holiday. And until next time, I'm Ken Sledge. And I'm Ashley Sledge.
Keep talking horror.
Stay who you are.
And we'll see you guys soon.